Welcome back to AJ's Animal World. I have a special episode today. We're going to be doing something that we've actually put off for a long time. We're going to go ahead and rehouse the Monocentropus Balfouri, one of the coolest spiders in the hobby and one of the only few spiders that you can actually keep in a communal. They've been seen in the wild in groups of hundreds before, so it's a very cool spider. It's also known as the Cicotra blue-leg tarantula. Very pretty. The females have a really dark blue leg with a golden creamy carapace. The males tend to be a bit more bluer. Fairly indestructible spider. They like to stay really dry, although I do provide a water dish in there. I'll play some clips here to show you how she eats and just what her current setup is looking like. As you can see, she's done a ton of webbing. This species, I would consider them sort of semi-arboreal if you want. So we're gonna be putting her into this larger setup here that I've already pre-arranged. Didn't want to take too much time showing you the setup, but basically it's just Reptisoil, some crushed leaves, and then various logs that I've gathered and cut up. Hopefully she'll go down in this front corner here and sort of use that construction to set up shop. I wanted to give her plenty of anchor points here so that she had tons of space to web. Now, this spider is going to be extremely fast and it does have a medically significant venom, so we want to be really careful. My experience with this girl before is she's very feisty. And she moves very quickly. She also does this thing where she rubs her two front legs together and it makes like a clicking noise. Very interesting. I think she's just a little too big for this enclosure, so once we get her into a bigger home, hopefully she'll calm down a little bit. Alright, and after we get through with this, we're gonna just walk you guys through the spider room and show you what has been going on. Alright, so I'm going to start by just taking this top off. Like I said, this is going to be a little bit difficult, so I've got a catch cup, I've got a paintbrush, some tools that I'll use here to just kind of pull apart her enclosure. You can see here she's just completely webbed this up. And what I'm hoping to do is I'm going to set the enclosure in here like that and start coaxing her up to the top, and hopefully she just runs in. If she happens to come out on the table, then we'll go ahead and use the catch cup and just catch her up. You can see she's just really made this her home. I almost feel bad, but she's going to appreciate the new setup. I'm going to start by taking the water bowl out. So let's go ahead and clear a little spot. We can put that. A little bit of mold in there, so that'll be good to get her out of that environment. Now, like I said, hopefully she comes out and over, but this could go in many different ways here. Start by trying to just pull apart. Basically just lifting up her entire web here. Oh, here she comes. You guys can't quite see her yet, but she's coming out to investigate. Alright, now she's about to come up out over the top. Hopefully goes right into the new enclosure. Here she comes. Now we're going to carefully try to walk her into the new enclosure. She's being good so far. Nice and gently. Right over the edge. And she's in. I think we can lift this up. Alright guys, how about that? I'm not gonna lie, my nerves are going a little bit here. Let's go ahead and get a closer look at her. This is gonna be a really cool setup for her. Yeah, she looks gorgeous. Look at that. There she goes, moving around a little bit. You can see she's due for a molt. She has plumped up nice and fat. Just really gorgeous spiders. Like I was saying, they just real dry environment. Eventually she's gonna web up this entire enclosure and just completely redo it and make it her own. You can see she's starting to make her way down into the logs. So pretty. We're not gonna see much of her after she does this whole enclosure how she wants. She'll stay tucked down in that little burrow. But beautiful spiders when you do get to see them. We'll see if the Kilobrachys will eat for us. Go ahead and get a little roach. There's a perfect one. We'll go ahead and just give it a little pre-kill here. And there she goes. Alright, now we're going to see if the T. Kallenbergi will eat for us. Here she comes. Whoa. That was really sweet. Oh, there's one leg. Everybody's eating today. Alright, quick little update here. I walked into the spider room and the Brachypelma baimi was out and about. And it looks like she is excavating this bottom left corner, which is really cool to see because for about 2 months now she hasn't done too much. She's only eaten one roach recently, and I'm pretty sure she's going into pre-molt. And looks like she's digging herself a little den. She hasn't done much digging in the past, so it's good to see. It's a pleasant little surprise. Over here on the left, we've got the Tililtocotyle albopolosis. You can see just kind of hiding out in the tip of the den there. Plants are growing in nicely. Lots of room to burrow. She's got a nice little chamber in here. Yeah, you can see she's very active right now. Very intent on digging out this den. The GBB, I believe, is in pre-molt as well. It's done a ton of webbing. You can see that entire top half is just thick with web. She's kind of curled up in the center of it. And I noticed she just recently started kicking down a molt mat. So you'll see her orange hairs all over the web. They'll do this in preparation of molting just to deter anything that comes looking for them. On the right here we have the Avicularia avicularia. Hasn't eaten in a long time. I think she's just adjusting to the new enclosure. But back over to this specimen. We're getting some really good shots right now. Very active all of a sudden. You can see that bald patch is completely black, which is a strong indicator that she is in pre-molt. Another recent molt that we have, our brand new Amphibidius species Macala. I named this one Gumbo, and I apologize you did not get to see the rehouse as promised. I've been busy lately, but I will show you what she looks like after her recent molt. Gotta be careful here. She was flicking hairs at me when I checked on her earlier. She like doubled in size. We got this girl from Repticon in Columbia, South Carolina. She's right there on the top. Now she's all scrunched up, and I don't want to provoke her to run. But she's like twice as big as she was. Still got the blue coloring. Let's see if I can get a light on it. There we go. Beautiful. I don't want to bother her too much. She literally molted out. Oh, there she goes on a little walk. Beautiful. Now again, these species, the females are just going to be basically a big dark brown spider. The males will be these vibrant pink and purple colored, amazing looking specimens. No telling quite yet what this could be. And you also did not get to see my OBT rehouse. This little guy is doing really well. He molted as well just recently. I don't know if we'll get a good shot of him during the daytime. He's just a little guy. You can see he's down in this corner here. It's really hard to tell what is him, but that round bulbous thing is the epistosoma, or the abdomen. There he goes, a little bit of movement. So what I learned with these guys is they like it super dry, but they are, oops, just knocked him, I'm sorry buddy. So they actually like it really dry, although that they can tolerate different climates. It's a very hardy spider, but they prefer it dry, so I actually let the substrate dry out in there. I'm not keeping a little water dish. I'll just give it a little mist every once in a while, but for the most part keeping it bone dry. That also goes for the GBB, or the Chromatopoma cyanopubescens. I was keeping that a little bit too moist in the beginning, and I've let this substrate completely dry out. And just keeping a water dish in there, filling it up once a week, but I'm not actually misting the soil or saturating the soil. Every once in a while I will, but there's no actual live plants in here. The avicularia is different. It's got a live pothos in there, so I do water the soil. But as you can see, mesh top, so it's well ventilated. Seems to work for her. Brachypelma has a live king's ivy plant in the background, so it'll get watering every once in a while, but for the most part I'm leaving the soil wet in the corner that the plant's in and dry in the other parts. And you can see that the spiders actually dug down to some of the moister soil towards the bottom, so it's kind of creating the environment at once for its burrow and top layers. As you can see, our GBB has come up to say hello. Again, I think she's working on that web hammock that she'll use to... Wow, getting some really good shots right now. That she'll actually use to molt. You can see she's just webbing up like crazy. Still got those juvenile patterns on the abdomen for the opistosoma. Subadult. You can see those spinnerets just constantly putting out silk. It's like a little dance. Spiders are very active today. They're putting on a show. Alright guys, thanks for tuning in. That's going to do it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed that. It was cool to walk you guys through the spider room, and this is what the Monocentropus Balfouri tank is going to look like on the shelf. So cool. It's going to sit up top there. Eventually the Phonopelma caucades and the Telodicado callenbergi will both get glass enclosures. So the whole top will be glass, slings in the middle, glass on the bottom, and our Pac-Man frog, who we will dive into in a later video. Alright guys, I will catch you next time.